So if you have already used the EEPROM memory on the Arduino board, well, you know that you can only store a number between 0 and 255. So you can just store 1 byte per EEPROM address. But now, what if you want to store an integer, which is stored actually on 2 bytes? What if you want to store a value that is above 255? Well, in this tutorial, I'm going to explain you how we are going to split this integer into different bytes and then store the different bytes into the EEPROM memory and read them later to retrieve the integer number. So here is how we are going to do. Let's say we have this number, 18,404. This is the representation of the number with 2 bytes, okay? So 1 byte contains 8 bits. So of course in the EEPROM memory we can only store 1 byte per address. So what we are going to do is, here you can see we are going to split this number, so those 2 bytes, into 2 different numbers, so 2 different bytes, okay? And then we are going to store this one on one address, and we are going to store this one on a different address. And when we read the 2 bytes again from the EEPROM memory, then we can just concatenate them again and we get the number back. So how can we get each number? So for the number on the right, we are simply going to apply a filter, so we just get rid of everything that is on the left. Okay, so we just keep this one, and this becomes that number. For the number on the left, what we are going to do is we are going to shift all those 8 bits, okay, to the right, so it will replace those values here. And then we are going to cut the left part, and this will become this number. Let's see actually how to do with the code. So back to the Arduino IDE, and actually the first thing you may want to do is to check what is the size of your data type, okay? Because this can vary between different Arduino boards, okay? For example, on the Arduino Uno, Mega, and Nano, the int is stored on 2 bytes. If you use an Arduino Due, for example, the int will be stored on 4 bytes. So you want to make sure you know how many bytes are stored inside a data type. And to do that is very simple. You just use the function sizeOf, okay, should turn blue like this, and then you can just print the result. So if I just send this to my Arduino, which is connected, and I open the serial monitor, I will see 2. Great, so I know that an integer number will be stored on 2 bytes. That's a good confirmation here. And then, so I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to here include EEPROM.h. So then I can use EEPROM in my program. And I'm going to create a function, so that will be more convenient. Void write 2 bytes int into EEPROM. And with the, so first we give the address and then the number. So to write a number into EEPROM, you of course have to give an address between 0 and 1023. Okay, great. So now in our function, we get the address and the number. We are going to split this number and write the first byte on this address and the second byte on the address plus 1. So now how to split this number? I'm going to split into bytes data type, and let's name it byte 1. Okay, and the other one will be byte 2. So for the first byte, the byte on the left, I'm going to do number, and then I'm going to use bracket bracket. So I'm going to shift this number by 8 bits. Okay, this is how you can shift the bits inside a number. So here, all the values on the left, so the 8 values on the left will be the 8 values on the right. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do and 255, which means that I will remove anything on the left of the number now and make sure that the number is actually not greater than 255. And usually when we do this, we don't write 255, we write 0xFF. This is the hexadecimal representation of 255. So, well, basically this means that we are going to take, so if we have, let's say, we have first 8, so this is, let's say, 2, 4, 6, 8. We have 8 bytes on the left and then 8 bytes on the right. This, what it will do, it will take those 8 bytes, okay, and put it on the right. So move this on the right. And then we have some 0 here, or we should have some zeros. So this will put everything on the left to the right. And then with this, we cut everything here. So at the end, we just get this number. And then for the byte number 2, we just want to get this one. So what we do is we do number and 0xff, which means that if we take this number, we just cut everything that is here. So we just keep that number. Okay? So now we have split the integer into 2 different bytes. And so what we can do now EEPROM.write with the address. We can write the first byte and then EEPROM.write. And this time we are going to use address plus 1 and write the byte number 2. So that's how you write an integer into EEPROM. And now you can just call this function with the address and the number. And how to read now the integer back? Well, I'm going to create another function, read 2 bytes int from EEPROM with the address. And actually, it's not a void, it's int because we are going to return an integer. And well, what we do is simply we get the first byte, which is EEPROM.read from the address. So we will need to provide the same address, of course, and then byte 2 is equal to EEPROM.read address plus 1. So we get the 2 bytes, and now how to put them together? Well, let's say int result is equal to, so we're going to do byte 1, and we are going to shift. Here what we did is we shift the number to the left. Here we're going to shift the number to the right. Okay, so again, let's say we have this and we have, so this is the first number and this is the second number. This, if we shift to the left, okay, it means we are going to add zeros. So we are going to add 8 zeros. So when we do this, this number becomes actually that number. And then, so I'm going to put some parentheses here, plus byte 2. I just add the byte 2. So this will be added to this number. So it will be added to the first number here on the right. And we get the number that we had before. And then return result. And alright, that's pretty much it. Now, what I can do in the void setup, I'm going to simply call those functions. So write 2 bytes into EEPROM. So I'm going to use the address, let's say 12, and write 18,404. And then I'm going to call the read function with the same EEPROM address, and I'm going to do serial.println with the integer that we get. So I write the value to EEPROM and then I read from EEPROM and then I print the result. So if with serial.println I get 18,404, it means that everything here worked correctly. And let's upload the program to the Arduino. Alright, let's check with the serial monitor and we get the correct number. So that's how you write and read an integer number with 2 bytes on the EEPROM memory with the Arduino board. And here, well, just a little bit of optimization, because here we just create some variables, okay, that we use once, and that's it. So that was nice for the example, but now what I can do directly is do this. I can put this instead of byte 1, and I can put this instead of byte 2 and remove that. Okay, so that's going to work the same. And then the results, I can simply do this. Okay, and put that here instead. And maybe after the plus, I can go back to a new line, just use some indentation and remove that. And also, instead of creating the result, I can just return this. Okay, and let's clean. So this is good and okay. So now the functions are smaller and we don't use variables that we don't really need. Let's make sure it's working again. And we still get the correct value. If you liked this video, subscribe to get more tutorials like this in the future. Also, check out my online courses so you can learn Arduino step by step in an efficient way by practicing and directly going to the point. Links in the description. Alright, thank you for watching. See you in the next tutorial or in one of my courses.